Wonderful. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Cook Along Kitchen. My name is Shannon Parks. I am your Cigna on-site nutrition coach, and I'm here with you again for another month of Cook Along Kitchen. And I'm so excited to be here because today we're going to be talking about making some sauces to start dressing up your meals. So we'll be making 4 different sauces together today. The first is going to be a Greek yogurt-based tzatziki dip or sauce. The second is going to be the foundations or the bones of a basic vinaigrette, and we'll talk about how you can dress that up a little bit differently. The third is going to be an Asian-inspired marinade, and the last is going to be a zesty homemade barbecue sauce. So really excited to bring all of these yummy recipes and sauces to you today because the stuff on the shelves has so much added stuff to it. Tons of sodium, tons of preservatives, added sugar, ingredients we can't pronounce, things that we don't recognize, which means that our body also doesn't recognize these things. So keep in mind when you are at the grocery store that a lot of the sauces that you're purchasing in a jar or a bottle can be made at home with the stuff that's in your pantry right now, or at least most of the stuff that you probably have in your pantry. And you can save a lot of money, a lot of effort, and a lot of misguided ingredients when you make stuff yourself. So let's go ahead and jump in. I will say I've got my amazing counterpart, nurse health coach, Brittany Hardup with me here today. She's going to be manning the chat for me. So if you have questions throughout our presentation this afternoon, go ahead and put those in the chat, and then I'll go through those questions at the end and answer all of them for you. We'll have plenty of time for any other questions after the presentation as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Like I was saying, we're going to start with a Greek yogurt tzatziki dip. And so let's review the ingredients that I have for that. I have Chobani non-fat plain Greek yogurt. Unfortunately, I can't share my screen because you guys are on my cell phone. Sorry about that. But in the future, we can definitely do a setup where you guys will be able to see a little bit more close up. I will come around and show you each of the products though, and then I can show you the end result as well. So we've got the Chobani non-fat Greek yogurt, just plain Greek yogurt as the base. We've got some extra virgin olive oil here. I've got some minced garlic, just to keep it easy. I've got a fresh lemon for some lemon juice. I've got both fresh dill and fresh mint that we'll be using. And then I've got the equivalent of a medium cucumber here that I peeled and chopped. You could also grate this as a part of preparation, but to save a little bit of time, I went ahead and peeled and chopped that. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is either grate or peel and chop your cucumber into small pieces. Once you've done that, you'll take a paper towel and just squeeze out any of the extra liquid or moisture that's in the cucumber. They are very high content of water. So just keep that in mind. If you don't squeeze it out, your tzatziki sauce will become watery in a day or two. And since it can be stored in an airtight container for up to 5 days in the refrigerator, squeezing out that moisture is really going to help the shelf life for you and make it still tasty tomorrow and the next day as well. So I've gone ahead and already squeezed out most of the moisture. I would say it took 2 or 3 paper towels to get the moisture out of a medium-sized cucumber. So I've got that here. To that, we're going to add the dill, the mint, the garlic, the lemon, and the Greek yogurt. So let's go ahead and get started. I am going to pick some of these mint leaves off here and start chopping those. So we'll chop these up real well. And I'll probably just do a couple of these little mint sprigs here. I love fresh mint. It reminds me of summertime and growing up. My parents would always use fresh mint in brewed tea. Do you guys like fresh herbs? Anybody else a fan of fresh mint in here and want to share? Maybe you can share in the comments how people like to use fresh mint. Brittany's telling me we're getting some feedback on that. People do like fresh mint. Oh, wonderful. So Brittany just informed me that we have figured out what was up with the closer view. In your user settings, under the screen settings, you can get a little bit of a closer view if you select speaker view. So hopefully that helps with anybody who could not see well before. All right, so I've minced up, chopped up real fine this mint. I'm just gonna drop that right in with the cucumber. I wish that you guys could smell the smell in here right now. The smell of fresh mint is so good. What movie was that? Willy Wonka with smell-o-vision? I wish that we could do that in real life. That would be amazing. All right, so I've got fresh dill here. Fresh dill is a little bit easier to work with because it's already really fine. So we'll just take a little bit here. And chop that up. This is gonna be so yummy. I love to put tzatziki sauce on top of fresh grilled chicken. Even turkey meatballs with tzatziki sauce on it is amazing. You can put it on a pita, or you could use it as a dip for fresh veggies. Pita chips, I especially like the no salt added Stacy's Naked pita chips. Those are amazing, super crunchy, super tasty, and a great way to incorporate the tzatziki sauce. The tzatziki sauce, since it's made with a Greek yogurt base, also has considerable amount of protein in it too. So if you're looking for a way to add more protein to your diet, this could be a really good way. Tip for getting the most juice out of any of your citrus is going to be rolling it gently under your palm before you slice it. That's going to help extract some of the juice. So I've done that a couple of times. I'm just going to cut a little wedge here, or a little section, I should say, off of the end. I don't need that much juice, and I don't want the seeds going everywhere. So I've just got a little section of lemon here. I'm gonna squeeze that juice into our tzatziki. Oh my gosh, you guys, this smells so freaking good. Oh, it's amazing. Okay, so we've got roughly 2 tablespoons of fresh mint, roughly 2 tablespoons of fresh dill, a medium cucumber, a squeeze of lemon juice. I want to say probably the equivalent of a tablespoon or so. To that, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of garlic. So that would be the equivalent of a clove or 2. So we'll add that in here. Oh yeah. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil to it as well. When I'm making sauces and cooking, I really enjoy the deep colored cold pressed olive oil. That means that it's the first press. You're getting the most nutrients, bang for your buck out of your olive oil if you're buying deep colored, robust flavor, first cold press olive oil. Amazing. Okay, and to that, I'm going to add what would be the equivalent of 1.5 cups of Greek yogurt. So each of these little guys is about 5 ounces. So I'm gonna do both. We'll put both of them in here. I will say, even my little one loves tzatziki sauce. The flavors come together really nicely. It's just such a super fresh addition to any meal. And it comes together literally in seconds. So I love that too. So let's go ahead and combine this. We'll mix it all up here. And the key with tzatziki sauce is to let the flavors kind of meld together. So once you get this all combined, I would cover this with an airtight cover, and I would stick it in the fridge for anywhere from, like, I don't know, at least 5-10 minutes up to 30 minutes before using it. So I'm going to come around and show you guys what this looks like now that I've mixed it up. So you can see it's got a nice creamy consistency. We've got all the chunks of yummy cucumber in there and lots of fresh herbs as well. Absolutely delicious. And if you could smell it, it would be even better. It smells so freaking good. All right, so that's our Greek yogurt tzatziki dip. If you have any questions about that recipe, the use for the tzatziki dip, feel free to drop those in the chat. I can't wait to answer those questions for you. Next, let's go ahead and move on to our balsamic vinaigrette. Like I told you guys, this is just going to be the bones of the recipe, right? So balsamic vinaigrette is one of those fun things to make because it can be changed so much. It can change based on the olive oil that you use or whatever kind of oil you're using. It can be changed with the type of vinegar that you're using, whether you use balsamic, champagne vinegar, red wine vinegar, apple cider vinegar, white wine vinegar. There's so many different options, and then the other additives to it as well. So today I'm going to be making just a traditional balsamic vinaigrette. I am going to use this garlic infused olive oil. When you're making salad dressings, that is the best time to use these infused oils. A lot of times people will buy these oils and think that they're good for cooking, but you're really not going to get a lot of the flavor from the oil if you use it in cooking. They're really, really good for sauces and dressings though, where that flavor remains really really pungent and strong. So I've got a garlic flavored extra virgin olive oil here. I've got some aged balsamic vinaigrette. I have some Dijon mustard, some local orange blossom honey. I love local honey. These bees help us out so much. If you eat local honey, you are getting a taste of all of the plants and vegetables around you and all of the pollen around you, which can help with seasonal allergies. And then I'm also going to be adding salt and pepper to that. Now, and garlic too. Let me forget the garlic. You can also add some spices to this. So you could add an Italian seasoning to it. You could add some red pepper flakes to it if you wanted it to be a little bit spicy. You could do herbs de Provence if you wanted it to be a more light flavor. So there's so many different variations to this that you can use. You can also use some fresh fruit juice in place of some of the liquid to bring a fruit flavor forward to your vinaigrette. So let's go ahead and get started. I am going to mix this directly into a mason jar because this has a built-in sealed tight lid and can go right into the door of my refrigerator. And bonus, I can just shake it up when I'm ready to use it again. Dressing can store in your refrigerator for up to 2 weeks in an airtight container. So I would suggest just labeling the top with the date so that you know when it's time to pitch it if you haven't used it all. But this is a recipe that goes pretty quickly in my house, so I would imagine the same happens for you. So we're gonna start with a half of a cup of the olive oil. Let me get my measuring cup here. Do we have any fans of balsamic vinegar in here? Anybody that makes their own dressing at home? I'd love to hear if you make dressing at home or have never made dressing at home and this is going to be a first for you. That's exciting too. So we've got our half cup of olive oil here. To that, we're going to be adding 2 tablespoons of the aged balsamic vinaigrette or balsamic vinegar to make our vinaigrette. Let's get that going. And the cool thing with this recipe too is a lot of the cooking that I do at home, unlike the cooking on Cook Along Kitchen, I wing a lot of it at home. It's kind of a dash of this, a dash of that. I don't tend to follow recipes too closely. This is a great example of why. If it tastes too tart, I would add some more honey or balance it out with more oil. If it's too heavy on the oil, I would add some more vinegar. If there's too much spice or not enough spice, you can play with it that way too. So there's really a lot of ways that you can tweak this recipe. So to our oil and vinegar, we're going to add a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. Love Dijon mustard. It's so versatile in the kitchen. We're going to add a tablespoon of our local orange blossom honey. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of garlic. I am not afraid of garlic, y'all. Keeping them vampires away, right? 2 tablespoons of garlic. Oh, this smells so good. I'm going to add some sea salt to it. Just a little pinch. And some fresh cracked pepper as well. And we're going to give it a shake. Awesome. So let's go ahead and get that lid on there real tight. I'm going to come around and give it a shake for you guys. So this is what it looks like. Oh, where's the camera? This is what it looks like before it's been all shaken up. Give it a good shake here. Amazing. There we go. Just like that. Balsamic vinegar. I think it took us, what, 2 minutes, 3 minutes? So easy, you guys. So clean. No added junk. You saw it here first. So balsamic vinegar, that'll stay in my fridge for the next 2 weeks, unless I eat it all first, which is a possibility. All right. Next up, we've got an Asian inspired marinade. I love this marinade. I cook Asian inspired dishes in my home all the time. Asian is my favorite cuisine. So I love this recipe. I also love that you can really tweak this recipe super easily. So if you are somebody who likes it more on the sweet side or likes it more on the savory side, you can make adjustments for that. So let's talk about the ingredients that are going into this marinade. I have low sodium soy sauce. If you are gluten-free or have a gluten allergy, you can use tamari. If you are soy allergy or soy-free, you can use coconut aminos. But since I have no food allergies, I'm just using the less low sodium soy sauce here. I have oyster sauce. You can find this in the international aisle at most grocery stores. I have sesame oil, same thing, most grocery stores, international aisle. I have mirin cooking wine. This is an Asian style cooking wine. I have ginger, a fresh knob of ginger here. Of course, the garlic, right? And some brown sugar as well. So let's go ahead and get this mixed up in our little bowl that I have here. Now, this marinade is something that I would put together and put over meat or protein or veggies. If I was going to use it with veggies pretty immediately. It can stay in the fridge for up to 3 days, so just keep that in mind. You'll want to discard any that you don't use after 3 days, or any marinade that's left over after marinating protein. Either discard it or cook it until the point of boiling. Maintain boiling for 2 minutes, bring it off of a boil, and you can use it as a glaze. So just keep that in mind as well, but typically I tend to just discard it. So I've got the soy sauce in here. To that, I'm going to be adding 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce. Oyster sauce is a little thick, so it can be a little tricky sometimes. Hopefully it doesn't give me any headaches today. Nice. And we're going to do 2 tablespoons of this. Perfect. Yum. To that, I'm going to be adding 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. So I've got the brown sugar back here. I like to pack the brown sugar. So I've got a tablespoon of brown sugar in there. We're going to add a tablespoon of the rice wine vinegar to this, or the mirin. We'll put that in. 1 tablespoon of mirin or rice wine vinegar, whatever you have. 2 tablespoons of sesame oil. Y'all, this smells so good. It's really good on veggies too. And fish, regular proteins as well. A tablespoon of garlic. Again, not afraid of the garlic at all. And I'm gonna grate about a tablespoon of fresh ginger into here as well. Now you could always buy pureed ginger or minced ginger pre-made. There's no shame in that. If you don't have that, you can use powdered ginger as well. You'll want to use about double the powdered ginger in supplement of fresh ginger. So we've got that. I'm just going to scrape it off the back here. You guys, this smells so good. It's making me super hungry. All right, so I've got all the ingredients here in the dish. I'm just going to give it a quick little mix, and I'll come around and show y'all what this looks like. There we go. It smells so good. If anybody knows how to get the smell through the TV, let me know, because it smells amazing, and I really wish you guys could smell it. So again, this will stay in an airtight container for a couple of days in the refrigerator. I use it pretty immediately because it comes together so quickly. I just tend to toss it right into a Ziploc bag, throw my meat or my protein in there, or my veggies if I'm doing it for veggies, and then just discard the rest. If you don't want to discard the rest, make sure you boil it for 2 minutes, bring it down from a boil, and then you can use it as a glaze, but I still wouldn't keep it more than 3 days. Okay, friends, last but not least, a zesty barbecue sauce. So I had never thought about making my own barbecue sauce, but the reality is barbecue sauces on the grocery store shelves are filled with so much sugar, high fructose corn syrup, and additives that we just don't need. And so making your own barbecue sauce is super easy. I'm going to show you guys today how it works. Let's go over the ingredients first. So first and foremost, I'm going to use 3/4 of a cup of the brown sugar. I'm going to use 3/4 of a cup of ketchup. I did choose to purchase sugar-free ketchup for this recipe since we're adding brown sugar to it. If you don't have sugar-free ketchup, I would just use less brown sugar because it has a potential of being really sweet. So 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, 3/4 of a cup of ketchup, a 1/4 cup red wine vinegar, a 1/4 cup of water, a 1/2 tablespoon of some Worcestershire sauce. That one's always been hard for me. Some powdered mustard, some paprika, salt, and pepper, and then hot sauce, a dash of hot sauce if you want, but that's totally optional. So obviously this is a vinegar and ketchup based barbecue sauce. There are so many different styles of barbecue sauce, but I wanted to just go with the most common, which is a ketchup and vinegar base. So let's go ahead and get started with that. I'm going to take my 1/4 cup and I am going to add 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar to this bowl here. I apologize if it's a little bit loud on y'all's end. I know that the AirPods pick up every last little bit of sound. So, okay, so we've got the brown sugar. Now to that, let's add our ketchup. So 3/4 of a cup of ketchup. Amazing. I actually was using the 1/3 cup measurement, so I'm just going to do just about the equivalent of what 3/4 of a cup would look like. All right, so we've got the ketchup in there. We've got the brown sugar in there. To that, let's add the red wine vinegar. So, got my red wine vinegar here. I have my correct measuring cup, 1/4 cup. Red wine vinegar. Beautiful. To that, let's go ahead and add in that 1/4 cup of water. So lots of liquids working here. We're going to add in a 1/2 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Perfect. We're going to add in a tablespoon and 3/4 of a teaspoon of dry mustard. So quite a bit of dry mustard here. Nice. We're going to add in a teaspoon of paprika. This is smelling super savory and delicious. And now we've got a little bit of salt that'll go in here and some fresh cracked pepper as well. And then if I had hot sauce, I would do a dab of hot sauce as well, just to kind of balance it out. We're going to whisk these ingredients together until smooth. And barbecue sauce, if it's not thick enough for you, you can always boil it down a little bit too. This is kind of on the thinner side, so you might want to boil it down just a little bit. But you want to mix this up until all of the bits are nice and incorporated here. And then this can keep in your refrigerator in an airtight container as well for up to 2 weeks, or you can freeze it for up to 3 months. So keep that in mind too. And then I'll bring this around so you guys can see the consistency and the nice rich color. It smells absolutely amazing. I would totally use this on the grill if I was making some chicken or something along those lines. So I am so glad that you guys joined me here. We do have a couple minutes left over to take some questions. or I will give you your time back if there hasn't been any questions. So Brittany, I'll check in with you. Have we had any questions in the chat?
No questions other than how we will get the recipes and we should have them available by the time the video is posted.
Yep. So the recipes should be available online as a part of the A to Z HR guide. So you can go online and look up the Cook Along Kitchen. So it'll be under C for Cook Along Kitchen, and you'll be able to find all of the recipes available there. Okay. If there aren't any questions, I'm going to give you these few moments of your time back. But thank you so much for joining me for Cook Along Kitchen. We'll be back next month. Haven't decided just yet what we're going to cook, but we'll be back next month, and I can't wait to see you then. Have a good day.